Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I am so thrilled that you are here. I see my subscription numbers going up, sometimes in little baby steps, and sometimes, maybe a giant-sized step. And it's very gratifying because it tells me that the word is getting out and that you are finding some value here. Maybe Denise summed it up quite succinctly the other day in a comment, and she said, I love your videos because of two things. You make me laugh, or I get a giggle, and I learn something. So that's not too shabby, and it is high praise coming from a loyal subscriber. Anyway, this is going to be kind of a follow-up. It's no secret that I and many others on YouTube love to thrift. We love to save money. We love the thrill of the hunt. Probably in our heart of hearts, we're also hoping we're going to find a Picasso at a garage sale. And I think maybe more importantly, we have the mindset or the belief that we can make something really beautiful or functional out of something that is languishing, in garages, thrift stores, antique shops, or whatever. So I don't even know when this was, but I thrifted a number of these stitchery kits. Maybe they're all, they're all cross stitch. Anyway, and the reason I took this first one out of its bag is because the glare would be kind of annoying. But I just wanted to tell you or show you, it's high time I put this away, and it's high time I put it to use. So I want to show you or tell you what I would do or how I would deal with this kit. So let's begin with the bag. This one is still relatively intact. It doesn't have any annoying price tags or stickers on it. So I save these kinds of bags because for me, and maybe for you as well, being able to see the contents of something is vitally important. So right off the bat, we've got the bag. This cover, this sales tool here is bigger than, I wonder where my 15-inch ruler went. I don't like this one because of the curve. Anyway, maybe that's a fool's errand. Okay, 12 inches by 9 inches. Okay, so that's a pretty standard size. And it is clearly off a weight thicker than coffee paper. So what would I do here? Well, it depends. I'm really not short of anything. I'm not short of things to fussy cut. I'm not short of cardboard that could be used as a cover. I am not short of heavier materials to collage on and create masterboards. So I don't know, to be honest, what I'll do with this. But I think, just in that little disclaimer there, I've given you some options. It could be the base for a masterboard. It could be the basis for a cover. And by leaving it 9 by 12, it does allow a bit of room, at least on this dimension, to have a bit of a spine. Probably would need to be cut down height-wise. Or I guess it could be used this way. Now, this stamped number is cool if a person wanted to, needed some sort of a thing like that. There are other words that if you decided, oh, no, I don't need cardboard, I got cardboard for days, maybe you fussy cut around. I wouldn't leave these corners on here, to be honest. I'd just make that a frame. And because it's heavier, it could be a pocket automatically. This, it's showing Ada cloth that was put on or I don't know how they made that, but anyway. 2 cotton fingertip towels. Okay, so the towels came that way, I guess, with the room for cross-stitching that little border. So those hearts could all be cut out and they could become part of something that you embellish. Maybe you like this motif, and rather than trying to fussy cut around it, you just get your circle punch or draw, get a cover from something and draw around it and, cut a circle. This, incidentally, is from 1989. So there's that piece. Now, we also got this lovely cream color, and look how big it is. Like, what is the finished size? Okay, the finished size on this kit is 10 by 20. So clearly there is a lot to do. There is a lot of fabric here. Now, I have Ada cloth also till the cows come home. There is this needle to salvage, and look at that nice big eye. So this could be added to my needle book. We'll put that out of harm's way for now. So, okay, what's with this piece of fabric? It is 13 by, okay, this is 11 and a half, so roughly 23 inches. 11 by 13. Could clearly make 2 journal covers if they were the bigger, sort of standard size. Could make much smaller ones. You could actually, forget the pattern and just do some crosses, some X's along the way, along to create a border in either direction. And I mean, that doesn't take any kind of skill or really too much time to speak of. We all fritter away more time than that, on our phones in any given day. So easy peasy with that. And it would add that handmade, homemade bit to whatever the finished product is. So it seems to me, and typically I like to wash things before using them, but in this case it might be nice if it becomes a journal cover or 4, because that's another option. It could just be a cute little thing like this. And in fact, maybe I should put my money where my mouth is and just do that. Now the beauty of this, even if it was folded crooked in the, in the factory or however these kits got put together back in 1989, I'm just going to roughly pick a thread or pick a line, a row, and quickly cut down that thread. Now we know that it is going to be straight. If you need to, I guess, touch up the other sides, then you can do that. But you know that once you do that, it will be square and plumb and true. Now, this instantly makes this piece of fabric more useful, more accessible, less intimidating. Now I'm going to I like to hedge my bets, so I'm going to put this piece aside, but I will do the same in this direction and sort of pick a row, and then I get 2 smaller pieces. So let's see. That's where it'll be. Before I turn the camera on, this is Sunday morning. Well, I guess it's not morning anymore. That I'm taping this, I was doing some organizing and some what I like to call filing, even if filing tends to imply that it's paper. To me, I just use that term more globally to mean putting stuff away. Oh, I said that anybody can cross stitch. I'll just preface that, or I'll add to that by saying, it's always designer choice. Do you want to use the thread full strength, in other words, 6 strands? Do you want to cut it or separate it into 2 3-strand pieces? I don't think you'd want to go much smaller than that, like 2-strand or 1-strand on fabric like this. But again, far be it from me to tell you what to do. You can see that on this chart where they've outlined those trees, that may be 1 or 2 strands. But if you want it to look like more, you can certainly, you probably want to stick with 3 strands. I guess we can look in the directions in a minute and see what they're recommending. I also want to say that, okay, this, no, if I'm not mistaken, oh yeah, okay, this kit says that it has 14 count Aida cloth. Now what that means is 14 of these to an inch. So there is finer stuff and, well, no, maybe that's not the right word. I was going to say finer and coarser, but you know what I mean, bigger and smaller. Okay, so typically you would do your cross from here diagonally to here. However, you're in charge of your own domain, as Seinfeld would say, a master of your own domain. There's nothing saying that you can't go from here to over here. And then the others, so you're essentially going up 3 rows and 2 over. So all I'm saying is that if you want the look of cross stitch, the thing that is going to separate the amateurs from the pros is the fact that all your top, well, stands to reason that both threads, bottom and top, are going in the same direction. So in other words, you don't do one. Okay, maybe I should draw a picture. My kingdom for a piece of paper. I clip together all kinds of scraps like this because, there is a global paper shortage and I don't want to be caught with my pants down. So I reuse. Anyway, okay. Let's just make this quick and dirty. Okay, so let's maybe pretend that these are the little holes that your needle would be coming up through. Okay, so you're starting from the bottom, of course. So if you come up through this hole, you're going to go that way. Then from underneath, you're going to go that way. From underneath, you're going to go that way. From underneath, you're going to go that way and that way. Then when it comes time to finish the cross, the X, you are going to, from underneath, you're going to go this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way. So you wouldn't go this way and then maybe go this way and then go this way and then cut across underneath, of course, and go this way, because you're going to have some of your top stitches going in opposite directions, and that's gonna just say rank amateur. unless that's the title you're looking for, in which case, do whatever you want. Typically, you would not tie knots either. So if this is, let's use a different color. So this is our nice, beautiful row of cross stitching. So underneath, if we came up here, we would, and this, imagine that what you're seeing is underneath. So you would have left a tail of thread. I don't know how to draw this, so, well, I'll just kind of go that way with a little arrow. So you'd have maybe an inch or 3/4 of an inch or whatever, probably closer to an inch, that you don't knot, you just hold it there. Because as you're doing all of this, you're securing it. What else can I tell you about cross stitch in a nutshell? Maybe that's it. If I think of something else, I'll tell you. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these two pieces, well, I'm not going to fold them just yet. I will take these to the bedroom because as I watch things on TV, you know, whether that's YouTube or Netflix, that's a good time to stitch. Another trick that has just come back to me, because of course it's years since I cross-stitched anything, is to take a basting thread. Now you might just want, all I have within reach here is white, but maybe black would be a good thread, you know, a contrasting color so you can see it. You would thread your needle just with ordinary sewing thread and do kind of an overcasting stitch so that through the course of working with this, you're not going to have, you know, it start to fray. Because you can see I just cut that, but there is this little thing here. Now, because this isn't a real piece of cross-stitch art that is going to then get framed or become a cushion cover or whatever, maybe instead of doing what I just said, maybe if you're confident that this is the real size you want, the other thing to do would be to, you know, zigzag around the fabric before you begin. And that way, you've got it secured. And maybe at that point, if you already know what colors you're doing, you know what color you want your little border design or whatever to be. And I think, to be honest, to keep things as simple as possible, what a person would probably choose to do is just make a row of X's around the perimeter. Now, you would want to make sure that if you're, you know, 3 rows up from the bottom, you're going to be 3 rows in from the sides so that the amount of fabric outside of the row of X's is going to be even. Now, if you think you might be changing the size of your, 6.5 by 11 1/4. So that that basically is a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. So this way plus a little bit for a spine. This 6.5. Now, it could be that is not the height you want, because that's going to mean that every single piece of paper has to be, you know, cut to fit. So you play around with the math and you decide what you're doing. Then if you get on a roll and you think, you know, I really love a needle and thread, I love the effect, I love how easy it is, you know, you do have to look at your work occasionally to make sure you haven't missed a row or forgot to go back or whatever. But if you decide to like it, I mean, if you figure out that you like it, you can continue and embellish in other ways. Or you could do multiple rows of stitching around. Like, really, the choice is yours. And I didn't mean to turn this into a lesson in cross stitching, but that's what I intend to do with this. So I'll put that aside here. So we also have this. So it's basic. I could have shown you that instead of drawing. Okay, so they're talking about threading the needle. So these are graphics that are bold and rectilinear. So these could be, used to decorate. Well, number one, it could be a journal page in itself. But if you were doing something a little off the normal size, you could use these on a master board to decorate cards or whatever. So that's that. Now, are they saying how many threads to use? Okay, it says leaving 1 inch on the back. Secure, catching the back with the first 3 or 4 stitches. Do not ever use knots. That's, because it's all caps, that's like screaming. Do not use knots. I obviously got indoctrinated in that way. Now, this chart is big because the picture, the finished product is big. I don't think I've ever seen one printed quite like that. But anyway, okay. It says to separate 6-ply floss, or to begin, separate 6-ply 6-ply floss and stitch with 2-ply unless otherwise instructed. So that answers that question. But again, you're not doing the picture, so who cares what they say? So clearly this could be cut into pages. So for instance, if this becomes a journal cover, I could cut this up in such a way that these become signature pages. And actually that would work quite nicely because it is printed on both sides. They're probably showing a back stitch around here. Yeah, back stitch around the geese, the clothespins, the clothesline, etc., etc. So that is that. Okay, so we have dealt with all of these pieces so far. Now, the last thing, of course, is the thread. Look at this honking chunk of thread. Now, of course, it doesn't have every color under the sun because that's not the nature of this particular kit. I have, those beautiful quilted fabric covered, not quilted, those beautiful fabric covered boxes that you can sometimes buy. It's got the cover and so on. That, and it's yay tall, that is chock full of embroidery floss. Because at some point I, of course, took all the loose floss out of all the kits, the Petty Point kits that I had ever done. I'm not going to take this knot out because that's just asking for trouble. But depending on what your intentions are, you can pick one of these colors, being quite assured that it will, if you want it subtle, go with the beigey gold. If you're like me and you love burgundy and those kinds of colors, burgundy plummy stuff, you'd pick that. Look how nice the high contrast that is. Or blue, maybe. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Now, in order, excuse me, in order to prevent this from becoming a tangled mess and you taking my name in vain and cursing me, you could, I probably don't have anything, because again, I didn't think this is where this conversation was going to go. But let's pretend this is a scrap piece of something here. Do I want to use it just on a demo? Well, sorry. I guess I'll do this the right way. I'll cut this off where I can actually use it for something, and I'll still have enough to demo what I'm talking about. Now, there are many ways, excuse me, to keep embroidery floss. You've probably seen those little bobbin type things that have little notches in them. What I used to do back in the day before I had sophisticated stuff like that, because I was a simple home crafter, I would take a piece of pantyhose cardboard and, well, okay, pretend this isn't great because it's pretty small. Let's not use those scissors on this. Okay, you have to imagine this is much bigger than it is. Okay, you'd have a piece, pretend this is pantyhose cardboard, if anyone in the world still wears pantyhose. But, you know, substitute. So I would cut slits, not very long. Oops. Why am I farting around doing that instead of just cutting? I'd cut slits, probably as uneven and as that. And I would, first of all, okay, if you were really doing this kit, you would have to, using this color guide, you would have to figure out which of these colors are which, because they're not labeled. So, well, okay, pink is pink. That's an easy one. But then there's light gray and dark gray. There's light blue, medium blue, and dark blue. So you figure that out. Anyway, what I would be doing on here is I would probably be adding, you probably can't see that. I would be adding the symbol. So, okay, this symbol is pink. So that's where I'd put my pink thread. Anyway, again, your smart cookies, you will figure out how to store your thread so it makes sense for you and doesn't become, you know, your life's work to sort this thread, because that would be foolish. Okay, that is maybe all I need to say about this one. Let's just look at another kit just for the heck of it and see what we see there. Okay, this one is also beautiful. Another bag. Normally I don't take time to fold them like this, but hey, I've got an audience. This one has no fabric and no thread. It has this heavy piece of cardboard and then a lighter weight thing. Now, it seems to me, well, again, I really don't need cardboard, but I've got it, so I'm going to use it, or I'm going to at least put it with my other cardboard pieces. So that's what'll happen with that one. This, you know, again, probably would just be, oh, and incidentally, you can, especially with these nice big pieces, you can coffee dye them first. I've got things slipping and sliding beside me here. You can coffee dye this first, because that might be a good thing. You can cut out little things like that if you want. These, you know, some people love columns of numbers. Here we've got bold and regular font. We've got all these color names. We've got this whole table here that would be, you know, kind of cool in its own right. So again, I don't need to tell you what to do with paper. You're quite capable of figuring that out. On this, what I would probably, let me get rid of this awful ruler. On this, we have, okay, let's do it with the frame. 10 and a half by 4 3/4. 10 and a half is a bit big for most journals. So what if we just fussy cut around this green border here? All of a sudden, we're down to about 9 inches, which is still probably too big. We've got this little cute thing over here that can be fussy cut. So I would fussy cut this. In fact, sometimes what I do is just rough cuts and then add it to my fussy cutting pile. Mountain, my fussy cut mountain. And then maybe, how wide is this? 4 3/4. Okay, what I would probably do is I would consider this a possibility. Well, let's fold it on the frame. Might be a bit wide, but wouldn't be the first time I folded something twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. Okay. Because this side, what I'm talking about here is turning this into a signature page for a tall skinny. So it definitely fits within that realm. 10.5. Okay, what I would do, it's too bad that barcode is right in the middle of nowhere. Do we have a date on this one? 2004. So quite a bit newer than that other one. Okay, I would cut this out. Oh, I see that I have that little hair's width of black there. Okay, I might have to neaten that up a bit. But because the average, oh, you know what? I almost made a math mistake there. I'm thinking that it has to be 4.5. Because if you fold an 8.5 by 11 lengthwise, you're going to get 4 3/4. No. Sorry, that's wrong. You're going to get 4 1/4. But there's nothing we don't have a cover made. We don't know where this might end up. So at this point, I'd leave my options open. I would cut it. No, I probably shouldn't. Let's just do it like this, roughly, knowing that sort of this is my intention. So by leaving it kind of a rough cut, chances are it's not going to get damaged on, before it gets used. So this could be a signature page. So let's leave that one alone. And maybe just quickly, I don't know how long, because this turned into a cross-stitch class. Let's see what we can do with this third one. Again, save the bag, stop the glare. Oh, it's got a little tag on it, but that's okay. Probably, no, of course, it never comes off properly when you want it to. And those bags, incidentally, can be used for storage. They can be used for making, windows if necessary, if you needed them. Oh, see, here's another example of how you can create a floss holder. And of course, they're just not kind of that same thing we do on when we add thread to the top of a tag. Someone has already pre-sorted this. Have they started the kit? Oh, looks like they did. Have a few roses done. Okay, there's warmth and joy that never ends between hearts of special friends. Okay. Oh, and here's another needle, so we'll put that aside with the other one. Or actually, better yet, let me put these 2 needles. Whoopsie. I'll put both of them into this fabric that I intend to put a border on. Another thing you want to do is when you're, like those holes are pretty visible. You don't want to be splitting the threads. So aim for the hole. Don't split the fabric thread. Okay, the other thing you always have to do if you're really going to cross stitch is start in the middle. Find the middle of the chart and find the middle of your fabric. Anyway, so now a person either cuts that off. It's not really complete enough to, well, I guess that's a tiny little flower. So, you know, chances are I would cut this on either side, have this piece, have that piece, and then this strip down the middle. And then, of course, further cut this down, you know, maybe backstitch a sentiment on there. Who's to judge that that's not what the plan was? So, again, a paper thing. This is from edge to edge is 8 and a bit by 6. That could become, now it's pretty shiny. I have to warn you about that. That could become a signature page in something small. And again, just roughly carrying this. Because frankly, if I were to stop and do every little cut to perfection, it's like, you know, it's deluding myself that I'm making progress. But in truth, it probably, in my case, would be procrastination. See, if I end up sending another envelope to Sandy at Wilhelmina, maybe she gets this little thing because there are those two sheep that are sort of forehead to forehead. You know, so nothing goes to waste. Another piece of cardboard, we'll add it to my collection. Oh, look at this lovely color chart. I'm more used to, what brand is this? Dimensions Incorporated. Yeah, that's a brand I'm familiar with, but I don't think I've ever seen a color chart before. This is beautiful just in itself. Now, it's kind of too big for a normal journal, but it could certainly be used in an art journal or something like that. Again, those cute little images for how to stitch. I love that. I'm more used to the black and white charts where you then, you know, take a pencil and fill it in once you've got that area, because it is easy to lose your spot if you're not paying attention. So what have we here? So these are, okay, this is a photocopy. This doesn't belong in there. But with us in the crafting business, in the paper crafting business, that's like gift with purchase. So this is another kind of thread holder. You could even make yourself. It is pretty flimsy. Probably a bit better than my little, this guy here. But things have come, I guess, a long way. This makes more sense, to be honest, because then it's just better. Now it has this fold here, so you can be sure that when I take this thread off, and I will, now because it's pre-sorted and there's a fair bit of each color, what I would do, let's do this darker blue. Oh, see, and she's got, whoever did this has two bundles, let's say, for lack of a better word, in this one hole, keeping the color intact. But look at, these have been split into Yoy, yoy, yoy. These have been split into however many threads, however many strands she was using. So that is going to be obvious. So I wouldn't bother keeping them separate at this point. So what I would do is probably what you saw in that second kit, and just make a loose knot just to keep it together. And then I would have this little doohickey freed up to, use in a stitchery journal or whatever, wherever my little heart desires. And since I'm still working on the purple journal, hey, and that might be good for the blush one, or this one, I will, after this video, I will remove these things. I'll add this to where I keep my signature pages, and know that now these kits have another few steps have been taken in dealing with these thrifted kits. So it's not just something that gets lost, forgotten, and, keep buying more of the same without having used the previous purchase. So, my lovelies, I think I'm going to stop there. I don't even know how long this has gone on, but probably longer than I imagined. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And if you have kits like this, and see what happens, if you have kits like this in your stash, or you see them now in your thrifting adventures, number one, be aware of all the possibilities that exist. And I should say that when these kits were new, they cost a heck of a lot of money. So to be able to buy a kit and maybe spend $2 or something like that on it now, and get all of those components that you may need, especially if you're brand new, and I think we do have new people who are starting this adventure pretty well daily, know that this is a good source of a lot of material. I mean, a lot of supplies, not just fabric. So I will stop there. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to check out my coffee shop and hit the notification bell. Or there's no notification bell. Become a follower. And access the couple of freebies that are there as we speak. And you will also know when new stuff is being added. Things for purchase, as well as obviously freebies that are really, again, critical to people who are just starting out. Anyway, thanks guys. See you. Bye.